Story 1. Don't dwell on things. They will make mistakes and so will you. Don't get lost in the other person. You each need to be individuals, and their personality is not a reflection of yours. Don't be unkind. Do offer to help. Don't keep score. Find at least one thing you both love to do and do it together. Don't do everything together. Story 2. Married over 30 years, raised multiple children, adopted children, and now have grandchildren. I will be honest. What works for us will not work for you. What worked for you would not work for me. My wife is my partner, and I have to learn to love her the way she needs to be loved, and she has had to learn to love me the way I need to be loved. She is my best friend, and I want to spend as much time with her as I can. There are common traits in most happy marriages: sharing the load of chores, splitting bills, and maintaining intimacy. The closer your goals are in your relationship, the stronger your marriage will be. These are the usual answers, but really that should be common sense. The rest of the advice that I or anyone else can give you is nonsense. Don't have kids, do have kids, separate bedrooms, same bedrooms, snuggle, don't snuggle, plan sex, always be spontaneous, different hobbies together. All of it is noise. No one knows your relationship better than you do. Invest your energy into your partner. Learn how they need to be loved. Learn what makes them happy, and do those things. As long as your partner is returning the energy, you will be married the rest of your lives, assuming what you are doing is healthy. Story 3. Dani Shapiro wrote that an elderly aunt attributed her long marriage to one thing. They never fell out of love with each other at the same time. Love ebbs and flows. When one partner is struggling, the other steps up and becomes the reliable champion. Story 4. Kindness. I have had many medical issues over the past 2 years, and my husband literally had to clean up after me when I had an ostomy-related accident. He did so with no bad attitude and comforted me while I sobbed. He took care of everything for a whole year for both of us, handling daily tasks. He is still loving and kind and thinks I am beautiful, even though I am not anymore due to significant weight loss and ongoing health issues. Story 5. Being married does not mean you are joined at the hip or share a brain. You each need to have your own interests and hobbies and, though separate, be supportive of each other. Face facts. Having adequate and stable incomes eliminates many issues and tensions. Married 40 years and raised 2 children. Story 6. Choose the right partner to begin with, and do not avoid or ignore your problems. Discuss them and solve them, or if the problem is with you, take steps to address it yourself. Your partner can support you and encourage you, but it is not their responsibility to fix or save you. Story 7. Be okay spending time alone, having separate friends and interests. Also, keep flirting, stay interested in each other, and do the things you both enjoy together when you can. Have sex as often as you can. Make it a part of your nightly ritual. Married 21 years and very happy with my relationship with my wife. We have had our rough patches, but the good times have always far outweighed the bad. Story 8. 20 years together and going strong. 3 biggest things I can think of. Do or say nothing deliberately hurtful. Accidents happen, but you cannot have a trusting relationship with a person who intends to harm you. If they do things that you find annoying, try to speak up and find a compromise before you become irritated. It is much harder to fix things after you have let it go until you are irritated. Grow apart together. You and your spouse should cultivate some activities that the other is not involved in. You will always have something new to share with your best friend that way. Story 9. Patience, mercy, give and take. And of course, take life as non-seriously as you can. Also, as a male, make your attraction to your wife consistently known. A woman who feels beautiful is happy and more objectively feminine. Story 10. Nothing is 50-50 all the time. Sometimes your significant other has down days and needs you to pick up the slack or vice versa. The best advice I ever got was, it is you and your partner against the world as a team. Story 11. 16 years together. Personal care. Exercise and stay fit to look good for yourself and your partner. Physical attraction helps a lot. Maintain this. Take an interest in your partner's hobbies and what they consider fun. When doing things together, remember it doesn't always have to be activities you enjoy. Take and give. Find time for yourselves, movies, shows, dinner. Make time. Be sure to let your partner know you enjoy their company. Lastly, when your partner says something hurtful, it will happen. Let them know you did not like it. It is usually best to wait until you have cooled off. If your partner is mad at you, interrupt them and tell them you love them and that you cannot talk to each other like that. My wife and I have an agreement to never swear at each other. These are some of the things that worked for us. Story 12. There are a few. My wife and I have been together for 10 years. We have 4 kids, including triplets who are 3.5 and absolutely energetic. The adversity has actually brought us closer together, and we have to do the cliché thing and communicate all the time. We both agree we would never want to face those challenges with anyone else. That communication means we have to talk about everything, good or bad, and plan time for just the 2 of us. This has made us much closer and more affectionate with each other. We plan dates, walks, going to the gym, and even doing separate activities for ourselves. Part of a good relationship is having some separate interests and supporting each other in those. Talking about personal and shared goals and how those are progressing is important. Having some shared interests is also important. My wife and I both love the gym. We cannot often get there together, but we make sure each of us has time to go alone or with someone. She often takes her sister, and I take my brother-in-law and my nieces to the gym. Over the past 5 years, I would say our marriage has grown stronger in many ways. Story 13. 1. Laugh a lot. Communicate every day. Prioritize your spouse but not exclusively. Have lots of sex. If you have children, raise them from early on to be resourceful but interdependent, empathic but tough, and responsible but compassionate. Give grace. Be honest and transparent unless a truth is unnecessary and unkind. Story 14. A few things we have always maintained in our relationship. We have always continued to date each other. It is important to make time for each other and not have only one person making the dates. Men want to feel desired too. This also carries over to the bedroom. Do not let the man do all the initiating. Communication is key. We put each other first. It is important for our children to see a loving, healthy relationship and one that is an equal partnership. That does not always mean 50-50ths. It means when one person is overwhelmed, the other steps up. Some weeks it may be 100/0, 70-30ths, or whatever it is. We are all on the same team, and teammates support one another. Love yourself. Your spouse married you because they love you and your imperfections. Really let that sink in and be comfortable in your skin. This was a hard lesson for me, but our sex life improved dramatically when I learned to really love myself. We just celebrated our 20th anniversary last month. Story 15. The best marriage advice I have ever received was from an older lady at a casino bar. I am only 16 years into my own marriage, but it has served me well. Your marriage changes into something completely different every 10 years. If you want to stay married, just go with it. Story 16. God gave you your spouse. Married 45 years with no children. Accept that marriage is work. Do not ever speak in anger, especially men. Women have a mental hard drive that can be accessed at any time, no matter how long ago the event occurred. We do not fight. Rather, reflect before saying something you may regret. Listen, discuss decisions, and follow the classic advice. Never go to bed angry. Most importantly, your vows are not only to each other but also to God. Take them seriously. Remember, marriage is work and your spouse is working too. Many people just give up. Story 17. Been together 26 years. Married for 23 years. Never go to bed angry. Tell each other you love them every day. Your husband or wife should be your best friend, so have fun together. This last one may sound strange, but I always think, would I still be mad about this if he died today? The answer is always no. I get mad about him leaving socks all over the house and snoring, but if he dropped dead today, I would give anything to be able to pick up his socks or hear him snore. Story 18. Make sure you have some independence from the relationship and interests outside of it. It keeps the relationship healthy and gives you topics to discuss that are not related to the children or work. Story 19. When we are arguing, I will step back and imagine I am watching the argument on television or in a film. This inevitably makes me realize it is unnecessary and can be solved relatively easily. However, external factors such as health and financial issues can make it much more difficult. Story 20. I work in the industry, and it is astonishing how much money is spent on huge weddings and how short-lived they often are. Divorce rates tend to be higher in those cases, at least from my experience. I have been happily married to my husband for over 12 years, and it has been wonderful. Story 21. I went for my preferences, got what I wanted, and now put in the effort it takes to keep it as good or improve it. Story 22. No debt, more communication, more giving, and less expectation of the return. Let marriage become your anchor without making it your only source of happiness. Story 23. You are now a team, not a single entity. Think of it like two legs of the same pair of pants. Also, empathy. Story 24. My wife and I always say that being married is much easier than people make it out to be. We are fortunate to have never had any issues. We have also gone through some very difficult things together that have made us even stronger. Communicate about everything. Be respectful. Understand love languages. Have the same financial goals but still do fun things. Be an example for our children by showing our love for one another. Keep God at the center of the relationship. This is our number one priority, but I understand there are some people who are not religious. Story 25. Luck, hard work, patience, forgiveness, humility, common financial goals, shared passions, separate passions. It helps if you like each other's families or, at a bare minimum, have shared realistic evaluations of each other's family. Story 26. No secret. Like everything else in life, if you want to be successful, you have to work at it. If two people both decide not to fail, there is no stopping them. When one decides to give up, it is game over. Story 27. Swallow your pride and listen to your partner's concerns. Remember these concerns and use them to help you become a better person. This advice applies both ways. Story 28. Every time I see a question like this, the comments are almost always vague, general answers such as being respectful to each other, communicating with each other, or listening to each other. I wish people would instead describe specific instances that demonstrate how they applied those principles in real life. Story 29. I used to bartend at weddings for a venue. The disc jockey would almost always do an anniversary dance, inviting all the married couples onto the dance floor for a slow song. Then, every 15 seconds or so, he would ask newer and then older couples to leave the floor. 5 years married, then 10 years, then 15, and so on. Eventually, you would get to a couple that had been together for a very long time. Always sweet-looking elderly folks, and you just love to see it. Then the disc jockey would ask what their secret was. Maybe it is a regional thing, but nearly every couple said the exact same thing. Don't go to bed angry. Easy answer, and it makes perfect sense, right? Don't let your anger turn into resentment. The thing is, I think a lot of people take it too literally, meaning they think, hey, we're fighting and we should resolve this fight before we go to bed. That there ought to be closure at the end of the day. But marital conflict, in my 16 years of marriage, does not tend to happen at convenient hours when things are going well. It usually results from a buildup of chaos when responsibilities converge, work, children, house upkeep, bills, and you find yourself exploding out of nowhere when it is either almost the end of the day or when you have 100 more things to take care of before sleep. You feel awful and they feel awful, and sometimes all that you can do is just go to bed. Sleep it off. Then come back and talk things through. Marriage works best when there is common understanding, and sometimes the end of the day is just an arbitrary deadline that simply cannot be met. Sometimes space and time are good and necessary. Just do not let things fester, and talk it out if you feel something is wrong. Story 31. Marry your best friend. Never stop being best friends. Want what is best for them. Trust they want what is best for you. If any of these things are at risk of not being true, be willing to talk to each other and work through it. Story 31. Communication. Number 1 rule. Never go to bed angry. Always talk things out. Number 2 rule. Separate bathrooms. Married 17 years and going strong. Story 32. Happily married for 25 years. My husband would say that it is because we give each other space. I say that it is because we have no children. Story 33. Actually, a little of this. Story 34. 13 years. We make appointments for intimacy. Teleworking was much easier. Exciting Thursday. Then Elon Musk's Dogecoin interfered with me. It has been 3 weeks. Children are on summer break. Story 35. Working as a team with open communication to make decisions and solve issues or problems. Also, respect means that if something is important to either one of us, it is important to both of us. Over more than 3 decades of marriage, we are still each other's best friend and share all of life's joys and sorrows together. We both have our friends and some separate groups. She goes out to do things with her group and I with mine, but we also do a lot together. Because of this communication and respect, we have had very few disagreements, and none involved shouting or screaming. We sit down and work any problems out to a mutual agreement. Even after more than 30 years, we still sleep in the same bed and have a healthy, intimate life. If your spouse is not your best friend, someone you respect and can be fully open with to communicate, then you are likely not going to have a happy marriage. Story 36. It all comes down to respect. Listen and believe when your partner shares their concerns, feelings, and issues, then act appropriately. Story 37. Compromise and communication are important every time. Also, tolerance. My husband can be the smartest man and also the most foolish within the same day. We also chose not to have children, a decision we both still stand by decades later. Story 38. 1. Do what your wife wants before she asks you. 2. Treat women as you want your sister or mother to be treated. Story 39. Communication is essential. Never go to sleep on an argument. Marry the opposite temperament to yours. Story 40. I don't think there is a single secret. It's really about many things all working together. If I had to simplify it to one thing, you should be with someone you consistently feel the need to make happy. That will naturally motivate you to do things like making 2 cups of coffee in the morning, buying flowers on a grocery run, having patience during an argument, listening to that person when they are not making sense, taking extra shifts to fund a vacation, or taking dance classes to go dancing with them. As the years go by, that person will change, and the things they loved before may no longer interest them. You will naturally want to adapt to their changes to keep this newer version of them happy with their evolving needs. Sometimes, this even means reinventing yourself in certain ways. Of course, you should be with someone who can do enough of these things so that you also feel satisfied with their efforts. Story 41. Start off by being extremely compatible, similar likes, dislikes, neatness, political beliefs, philosophies, long-term goals, and similar calm temperament. Adopt an attitude of us versus the problem, not me versus you. Focus on how we can meet your needs while I still get what I need, always considering how our actions impact each other. Respect each other's space and need for alone time to work on our own projects and have our own thoughts. Story 42. It is easy to become complacent and forget why you chose each other to begin with. Remind each other, fight for each other, and just show up. Remember, you are in it together, not against each other. Story 43. We do things differently than others might. For example, I love National Hot Rod Association drag racing, but my wife does not care for it. I wanted to go to a race and she went with me. I am not much into concerts, but my wife was eager to see Donny Osmond, so she got tickets and we went. She had fun, I had fun, and we are happy. I was not much of a beach person. We went to Hawaii, and my wife wanted to spend 5 to 6 hours on the beach. I went and had fun. Now I want to go to the beach and just relax. Story 44. Life isn't perfect. Difficult times happen. Get through them together. Tomorrow is a new day to keep smiling and show love, care, and compassion. Story 45. We follow what we call the 3 C's. Communicate, share everything. Do not assume the other person should just know how you think or feel. Comprehend, listen to them. Do not become defensive. Just let them speak and listen. Compromise. At the end of the day, agreeing to disagree is fine, and finding a compromise makes perfect sense. Married 30 years, it works for us. Story 46. Learn how to communicate with each other. We all communicate differently. Cherish and respect your spouse. Be independent and interdependent. Take personal accountability. When you apologize for something, actually follow through by changing your behavior. Be honest, sincere, loyal, and committed to your spouse. Have fun with each other. Grow together by investing in each other, yourself, and the relationship. This is a great place to start. Story 47. Do not keep score. If you feel like you have to because things are consistently unfair or not in your favor, there are deeper issues that need to be addressed. Story 48. Going on 40 years, both retired. We do a lot of things together, but we still have our own hobbies and friends. We both enjoy hiking, but she enjoys watching streaming television shows. I have amateur radio, and she has a group of girlfriends that go for tea and cake. I have a group of men who like to talk about radio and woodworking. We are together but give each other space to enjoy things that the other does not. It works for us. Cats. Got to have some furry pets. Story 49. Be always the biggest supporter of your partner. Do not stand in your partner's way of happiness. Be happy for your partner when they are happy. Love is also a decision and hard work. I want to grow old with my partner so that we can talk about all the things we have done together when we are 75. We know it will not be easy all the time, but we know we are doing this together. Story 50. This may be obvious to many people, but my husband and I thank each other for the little things as well as the big things. We tell each other what we appreciate about one another. Story 51. 1. Do not go to bed angry. Choose your battles. If the worst thing he does is leave his underwear on the bathroom floor, then he is a good person. Do not hold a grudge. Story 52. 23 years ago, we agreed that my wife would make all the smaller decisions, and I would make all the big decisions. So far, we have not encountered any big decisions. Story 53. One major thing that I find many people do not understand is that you are expected to participate in conversations about things that your partner cares about. A conversation I have had multiple times about this particular subject revolves around a partner's clothing. She asked me if she should wear dress 1 or dress 2, and I do not know why she asked me. When I told her she looked great in both, she was annoyed. I do not care what she wears. I understand, but you have to realize there is probably some rationale for her asking you, and you can provide plenty of input and participate in the conversation without having to care what she wears. She is not asking you to care. She is asking you for input. Here are some relevant details you might provide. 1. Does she get equal opportunity to wear both dresses? If one is fancier than the other, she probably wears the fancy one less often. This might be a rare opportunity for that dress to be worn. Are you going somewhere hot or cold? Which dress would she be more comfortable in? How active is the activity? Do either of these dresses conflict with that? What are you wearing and how does each dress match your outfit? If one of the dresses matches the color of what you are wearing, you can point that out for better or worse. Has she complained about either of these dresses before? Any relevant notes? Think carefully. Maybe it is something she said that you disregarded because you do not care, but it could be relevant now. For example, dress 1 is black, and the only shoes you think look good with it are the flats. We are going to be walking around a bit before dinner. I'm pretty sure you said those shoes hurt your feet if you walk in them, so you should probably go with dress 2. If you really cannot think of anything, you can still engage by asking her what she is thinking. Both of these seem fine to me. Is there a particular reason you are having trouble choosing between them? You do not have to start caring about dresses, color theory, or anything else that does not matter to you. But if your partner matters to you, learn to engage with them when they talk to you. Recognize that they care about it, and show that you care about them by not dismissing it. Story 54. Just had our 34th anniversary. This is what worked for us. I think it's fairly universal. Almost nothing is worth arguing. Always remember, it is you and your partner against the problem. All other configurations fail and will not solve the problem. Chores and responsibilities are not a 50-50 deal. Some days you will carry the larger load. Some days your partner will. A true 50-50 day, week, or month is rare. Understand and accept this. Try to make your partner laugh. For me personally, every good decision we have made as a couple has been my wife's decision. I do not tend to question her too much anymore. Story 55. Respond. Do not react. The difference is in pausing and not saying things to lash out or even the score. Learning to inhabit that pause is probably one of the most important things you can learn and practice with relationships, both personal and otherwise. If I think of my relationship as something I have to keep score of, it is immediately combative. Story 56. You need to fall in love many times, always with the same person. 24 years strong this October. For grown children, best decision I continue to make. Story 57. Do little things for each other to show you are present and that you care for them. Feelings of appreciation and admiration go a long way. Story 58. Basic needs should be met, like food, sleep, some money, and some space to live in. It is helpful to have some space for yourself to withdraw from hectic periods at work, with children, or even with each other. This could be noise-canceling headphones too. It is not required, but it becomes more challenging without those. Accept that it is not all fun. Make time for each other also without kids. Definitely make fun together and remind each other of the good times. Speak out when you need time together if it has been a while. Be honest on all levels. Communicate whatever bothers you without blaming. Accept that you can never perfectly fit with each other. Try to embrace what does not come naturally to you from the other. Try to understand where certain behaviors come from in yourself and the other. Have intimacy. This must never feel like an obligation. Speak out when you need intimacy, but never think that you are entitled to it or that the other has a duty in this regard. You also have a responsibility to communicate about it if you feel like you cannot live up to the other's needs. Having sex when you really do not want to is not acceptable. Having sex when you think it will be a little of a hassle can be fun in the end. Men sometimes also do not feel like it. Women love sex also, unless you are asexual, which is perfectly okay. Everything in between the conventional sexes will probably love sex too, although I would not know because of no experience. Work on yourself physically and psychologically. Be well-groomed. You do not have to be super fit, but it helps if you are a little. You can have quirks. Compliment the other and yourself. Basically, be respectful to yourself and the other. It is a pity but perfectly normal to not fit together. My longest relationship was 13 years, and with my current love, we are at 8 years now, which went by really fast. If you made it till here, I am impressed. Story 59. I think it is very important to marry someone with whom you share morals, values, religion, and politics. Do you want the same or similar future? Do you have a similar sense of humor? I always say that I would want to be his friend, even if we were not married. You do not have to be codependent, and it is important to have your own interests and friendships, but it is essential to actually like each other as humans. Story 60. My children offered an interesting perspective on our 31-year marriage. They said they like how my husband and I try to find ways to make each other's day easier. It did not occur to me, but that is what we do. I happily wash the dishes, and he happily brings me a cup of tea. The biggest piece of advice is to marry the right person to begin with. Love goes a long way. Story 61. Married 15 years. The best advice I ever received, which I embraced and gladly share, is this: love is not just a feeling. It is something that you do. That means doing things for your spouse even when you do not want to, helping them when they need it or just because you can. Make them feel special. Take care of them. Telling someone you love them is sweet, but showing them is what matters. Remember that you love them when things get tough. If you are fighting, and you will, be honest, do not exaggerate, and do not be petty. Do not say things like "you never" or "you always," and do not keep score. Their feelings and actions are valid and logical to them, at least, so try to understand their perspective and accept that it is not wrong, even if you may not agree with them. And separate comforters. Story 62. You both need to believe that you got a good deal by marrying each other. That way, you nourish, support, and love one another out of appreciation. Married 40 years. Story 63. 1. Choose someone who shares your values regarding finances, parenting, and how to treat others, and who is committed to making marriage work. Combine your finances and do not keep major purchases secret from each other. Express gratitude openly for the things your spouse does for you and the household. Listen to your spouse's complaints without becoming defensive. If you are wrong, apologize and strive to improve. Make an effort to do activities your spouse enjoys. Take a trip together, just the two of you, once a year or every 2 years while your children are young. Learn to communicate your needs respectfully and clearly. Identify the exact reasons behind your feelings. For example, if you dislike your spouse going out with friends every weekend, determine if it is because you feel neglected or worried about their choices, and express this to find solutions. Following these steps will bring you close to success. Story 64. Don't go to bed angry and say, "I love you," before you hang up on each other. You never know when the last time you'll hear that voice is. I know it's easier said than done. Story 65. Make sure you have your own activities, even if it is once a week or once a month. A fitness class with a friend, pickleball, golf, poker, and so on. Having time away is beneficial. Story 66. 17 years married, 19 together. For me, regular shoulder rubs, swinging by to get her coffee when I'm on my way home from errands, literally telling her out loud several times a week how much I am still in love with her. All that good stuff. Trust and affection and taking time to be present with one another. I am a really stoic and serious person, so when we're alone, I turn on a bit of silliness to give her a part of me that nobody else gets. I know that charms her, so do whatever charms your person. But those are just polish on a turd if you aren't an equal partner in the labor of running your household. The real answer is to measure how much you can reduce your partner's daily stress and then take action without being asked. Don't be Superman, but you have to have energy for the drudgery and take on whatever your fair share ends up being. More than your fair share just to be safe, and communicate with each other about what that level is. Stress and anxiety smother the strongest love over time, so just make sure you're being a good person daily. Then whatever little unique things you do that made them fall in love with you will have a chance to keep them smiling. When you have kids, this applies triple. Story 67. Do not keep a tally to be even. By that I mean, if she hangs out with friends a couple of times 1 month, that does not mean I get to hang out with my friends the next 2 times to be even. We are far from perfect partners, but I have seen that monitoring too many times outside our relationship where resentment builds up. Story 68. Not married, but I am in a long-term relationship of 14 years. We watched each other grow up. We started dating at 19 and 20. My secret is communication. Understand that even if what they are saying sounds like it comes from a place of malice, it does not. Also, do not take everything so seriously. Life is short. Laugh about the dumb things. Story 69. We have been married 25 years this October. We have never had an argument or a fight. Everything is fixable except cheating. Story 70. Communicate. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Be open and vulnerable. Accept your parent as human and fallible, as you should expect from them. Mutual respect is essential. Show appreciation to your partner. Take accountability for your own issues and reactions. Work to improve and be better. Trust is important. Love is important. Being friends is great. Chemistry is nice. But being able to talk to one another has been the most critical element for us. Once we managed to nail it down, things became much more loving and easier. Story 71. Marry someone you actually like. Corny as it sounds, my spouse is my best friend and my favorite person to spend time with. Story 72. Accept that, like everything else in life, it takes work to maintain a relationship. You two will gradually change as people naturally do. Many of my friends are divorced because they believe once you get married, you can coast from there. Story 73. It seems obvious, but you need to care about and love each other actively. I guess I am saying not hating your spouse helps at a minimum. Story 74. You don't have to share the same interests. You can be interested in your spouse and what makes them happy. I like rocks. My wife has a normal interest in rocks, but because I am excited to talk about, look at, and collect rocks, she is interested too, but primarily she is interested in me. This isn't just to humor me. She has watched me wander all over the world looking at rocks on the sides of roads, off the grid, and sometimes on the side of a busy road. My interest is part of me, so she cares about it as part of me. Also, in 25 years, she's never once put a rock in her purse for me, because I can carry my own rocks, and if I don't have a spare pocket, I can leave it there. It doesn't matter how many times or how special that rock is. Putting a rock in her bag is the hard line, the limit of her interest. It's a bulwark. After all these years, of course, I still ask, and she still says no. I swear that's love. Story 75. Choose your partner wisely. It may seem obvious, but I am always surprised when people get married after less than a year. Find ways to genuinely enjoy your partner and their company because you spend a lot of time together. It is not all big romance and fireworks. Most of it is Tuesday folding laundry or choosing what's for dinner. Try to understand and appreciate how their brain works because it will certainly be different from your own. Learn about each other's family of origin because we all bring much to relationships. Leave space for yourselves to evolve as individuals and together. You will not be the same at 40 as you were at 20, and that is a beautiful thing. An important point. Being in love is an active choice each day. The intense feelings do not always stay like they do in the beginning, but they come back around, and that is beautiful too. After more than 20 years, my husband is my absolute favorite person to spend time with. Story 76. Understanding that happily married does not mean without problems. It means that both partners continue to choose each other every day, even when it is not easy. Story 77. Compliments, heartfelt ones. I tell him he's attractive. He's a good cook. Great job on the lawn. I thank him for taking out the trash. Men like to be appreciated too. Smack him on the butt or give him a squeeze and tell him you can't wait for bedtime. Whisper in his ear. Married 38 years. It's not always easy, but we try to be playful and thoughtful toward each other. He does the same for me. Story 78. Been married 12 years and our secret is never finishing each other's sentences. Sounds counterintuitive, right? Early on, we made it a game to let the other person complete their thought, even when we knew where it was going. That patience bled into bigger conflicts. Turns out most arguments die when you stop assuming you already know what they'll say. Side benefit. After all these years, we still discover new, weird thoughts in each other's heads. Pro-marriage tip. Try being wrong about your spouse sometimes. It's weirdly romantic. Does anyone else do the intentional miscommunication dance? Story 79. Effective communication and a good sense of humor, being able to talk openly and laugh together, really go a long way. Story 80. Does 17 years count as a long time? If yes, strap in. Allow for change and growth in yourself and your partner. But don't expect them to change the way you want them to. They are their own person, and life will throw some challenges your way. Remember why you love each other. Remember to have fun. Give them grace. Give yourself grace. No one is perfect. No relationship is perfect. If you can smile and have a giggle together, you will be okay. Story 81. The secret to a long marriage is the words, "Yes, dear." You should always say those words even if you don't listen. Story 82. Do not be possessive. Let your wife have her own life regarding friends and finances. Do not object to vacations without you. Trust and respect her. Story 83. We lie to everyone and act like we are extremely happy while privately behaving like roommates, managing the logistics of children, and pouring all of our energy into them. Story 84. It really comes down to sexual intimacy. If your relationship is working, you will have plenty of it. My wife and I have it at least 1 to 2 times a day. It was not that way with my previous partner. Story 85. Do as you are told and suffer in silence. As soon as you have an opinion or highlight their flaws, they never look at you the same. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.